polarization is really the extent to which people are on one side or the other side with really no middle ground, that there's not a centrist position. It's all or nothing, you're one or the other. But we can look at this at the elite level, and then we can look at it within the public. When we look at it within the elite level, we do see increasing levels of polarization. We see very few members of one party crossing lines to vote with the other party. At the mass level, we also see polarization, and this really is the result of the elite level. Most people are thinking that it's the citizens that are creating this polarization, but it's really not. It's the elites and the media have become more polarized, and in doing so, they actually have clarified the positions, and it's allowed members of the public to also understand things to a certain extent, maybe not fully informed, but allowed them to make some choices that align them with one of the two parties. And that's creating at a mass level polarization. This isn't to say that polarization is on every single issue. In fact, there's plenty of issues that are more valence type issues that everyone kind of wants. Everyone wants good education. But when we're talking about cultural type issues, and we're seeing this on hot button issues like gay rights and abortion, where each party has their own stances and people are joining parties or aligning with parties.
Kind of distracting, sorry.
According to those. And it's not an environment that we're going to get away from. We're going to continue to stay in this polarized environment, which actually might not be as bad as we might think it is. In fact, in the responsible party thesis, we advocated that parties should take a responsible role and should provide clear-cut issues positions and take stands on these clear-cut issue positions so that people could join the parties and understand what they were aligning with. And while this hadn't been going on for a number of years, it's the exact type of situation.
All right, we're done. All right. So, whoa. Okay, so let's look at this a little bit. This graphic does a really good job of illustrating what she described as party polarization. So when you look at the House of Representatives, that's probably the best sample to try to understand how party and government is functioning in relationship to party polarization. So in 1982, the blue line represents how many Democrats we had in the House of Representatives, and the red represents the Republicans or the people that were independent and sided with them. So like Bernie Sanders has been a senator from Vermont for some time, and he technically is classified as a socialist, but he caucuses with the Democrats because he sides with them more than he would with the Republican Party. Okay, so when you look at that back in 1982 and you look at the votes that they had in that Congress, there was a significant amount of overlap. People that were not voting based on party lines, but they were voting together as a group. What's happening to that consensus? Isn't that crazy? In the in the Congress of 2012, we have about 11 members of Congress that consistently voted together and not based on party lines. That's party polarization. How would you define party polarization, Chris? How would you define party polarization?
Like the amount of parties and people moving towards either end of the political ideology, so becoming more extreme than the middle ground.
I like that you tied it to ideology. So party polarization is the moving towards an ideological divergence. I do not think that party polarization is party loyalty. That's different in my mind. And somebody might disagree with me, and which is totally fine. I mean, we can discuss it. But to me, party loyalty is subscribing to a party platform. It's believing in the direction of that party and what that party is trying to accomplish. Party polarization, as it is expressed in our Congress today, is I'm not going to vote with you, I'm not going to agree with you, I'm not going to support you because you have an R or a D after your name. I really feel like party loyalty is supporting your party because you believe in them, whereas party polarization is not working with the other side because they're your rival. It's like you hating whichever school you dislike most in Frisco. Liberty? I don't know.
Lakewood.
Okay. So, whoever your rival is, it's how you feel about them, absent the fact of what your commonalities are. Okay? Party polarization in our national government is at an all-time high. Okay? Party polarization in our Congress is massive, and it's evidenced by government shutdowns. We have had multiple government shutdowns, and I'm going to explain to you how we get the budget and how that actually happens. But party polarization is when someone says, I refuse to even participate. I mean, I guess an example would be like party polarization could be right now where we've had a death of a Supreme Court justice, and immediately it becomes, we're not even going to consider that, like certain Republicans within the Senate say, we're not even going to look at somebody that you have to offer. Versus saying, let's see who you have to offer, and could you potentially pick somebody that we might be okay with. So it's that. To me, it's very childish, and I'm obviously putting in some of my perspective here. All right, party polarization in the electorate, she said, was a little bit different. How did she describe party polarization within the people? Did y'all get that? Yeah, they said it's kind of reinforced by what we see. Okay. How is party polarization expressed in the electorate, though? Like, where are we polarized?
You have the different caucuses in the House of Representatives, like for instance the notorious House Freedom Caucus.
Right.
That pretty much got ousted John Boehner and acts like a third party most of the time. Whatever it wants.
Absolutely. But in terms of this, like, do you look around? Like, if you look around this room, or if we think about our community, is party polarization in that you're a Republican, so I'm not gonna have anything to do with you? Like, what are we polarized on? Yeah, it's issues. People are polarized on like issues that they feel really strongly about. I think guns is a great example. Every time that we have some kind of mass shooting, we have some kind of tragic situation, the immediate response is two extremes. It's Obama's gonna take our guns to we've got to like institute new regulations. Like that happens every single time. And like I heard a really interesting interview where they were interviewing like average on the street members of the NRA, and they said like legitimately, it's not that I fear that my gun is going to be taken away. Like I'm not really concerned about that. There should be regulations in some situations, in some circumstances. So when I tell you that a lot of American voters, that most people are moderate, it's because when you look at it, there's a lot of rationality in a lot of people. There's a lot of kind of there in the middle. But what happens is we're getting increasingly driven by ideology and this kind of wow, where we're not going to like even think about the other side. We don't have conversations anymore, which causes us not to be able to kind of like get to that place in the middle. Obamacare is a polarizing issue. Abortion is a polarizing issue. And do you notice how extreme it becomes? People's perspective is 100% no or 100% no restrictions. Right? It's like the exact opposite of what our system was set up to create, which is probably why it's struggling so much. Okay? All right, there is one more question on your paper, and we are going to ask Kaylani to read it for us.
How does the responsible party model fit with this concept of party polarization?
All right, responsible party model and party polarization. Who picked up on it kept freezing? What did she say the responsible party model was? Did you get it? Danielle, did you get it? No? Okay. She was making funny faces. Responsible party model says that, and this is a political science concept, this isn't particular to today. It says that political parties, if they're doing their job, offer you clear-cut alternatives to make a choice. So there will be a platform and a statement of belief that says, I choose you because of your position. So she makes the argument at the end that perhaps party polarization is positive. How could party polarization support that idea of a responsible party model? Y'all are tired of thinking, I can feel it. This is the last one.
Gives you a clear choice of
It encourages, if it's more polarized, it'll bring out the base of both parties, for
I mean, party polarization, if it's polarization because it is clear distinctions on perspectives and issues, then it could definitely support that idea because it is giving you alternatives versus this very moderated, watered down, we're trying to appeal to everybody. So a responsible party model is really kind of pushing away from that idea of moderation, which very interestingly every person in this room embraced. So no wonder political parties are having such a hard time. All right. I believe, what time does this class get out? 10:35? We would have time to take our check
Bless you.
right now. Do you want to do it now?
No, I'm good.
So we have 10 minutes to sit here?
Yeah. Discussion.
All right. All right, we will, so y'all listen then. We will take our, let me chop